12 hours on my feet, soaked in sweat and warehouse grime, and I'm still stuck behind some beat-up Chevy at the stop sign like I've got patience left to give. Forklift jammed, pallet spill, one of the guys sliced his hand open, took 3 towels to stop the bleeding. I'm driving home with one goal: hot shower, protein-heavy dinner, and maybe 5 hours of sleep without some dumb family emergency yanking me out of bed. My name's Rob. I'm 38. I live in Beaverton, Oregon. Or, at least, that's what it felt like until today. I pulled into the driveway just before dark. My neighborhood was quiet, like always. Mrs. Gillespie across the street waved from her porch with her little dog curled at her feet. I gave her a tired wave back, still wearing my steel toes and orange vest. But something felt off before I even stepped out of the truck. The windows were bare. Living room curtains? Gone. Just blank glass panes looking right into my house like someone ripped the soul out of it. I figured maybe it was another one of Megan's projects. Her and her sister couldn't leave anything alone. 2 months ago, they dragged our dining table to the garage and replaced it with some glass thing that wobbled, didn't even ask. Still, I didn't expect silence. No lights, no clatter of pans, no dog barking, no TV humming, just dead quiet. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. That's when I felt it in my chest. Everything was gone. Couch, gone. TV, gone. Photos on the wall, every last one, gone. Even the recliner I swore I'd die in. She always begged me to toss it. That was gone too. My boots echoed across the hardwood. There was nothing. Not a spoon in the drawer, not a jacket on a hook. Just air and silence. And right in the middle of the floor, like some kind of joke, was a single envelope. No name on the outside, just Rob scrawled in her handwriting. I opened it with hands that suddenly felt too heavy. Thanks for clearing our debt, idiot. We're in Arizona now. Don't call. That was it. No explanation, no signature. Just Megan at the bottom, like it was a punchline. I stood there staring at the empty space where our wedding photo used to hang, heart thumping like I'd just been sucker punched. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I dropped the envelope and walked straight to the fridge. Emptied. Not even a damn bottle of mustard left behind. I grabbed a folding chair from the garage, planted it in the middle of the bare living room, and sat down. I had to figure out what the hell just happened. I sat right there on the hardwood floor, envelope still open next to me, trying not to throw up. My chest was tight, my head spinning. That hollow feeling in my gut wasn't hunger. It was panic. Pure, sick panic. My phone dinged. I reached for it like maybe it'd be something normal. A work message, a weather alert, hell, even a spam call. Anything else. It was from a real estate agency. Congratulations on listing your property. One of our agents will be in touch soon. I blinked at it. My house? Listed? I didn't talk to a soul about selling anything. That was when it clicked. Not just betrayal, not just her leaving, but a setup, a full-on trap. 7 months ago, I was sleeping in my car. That's how all this started. Megan had locked me out after an argument over her brother borrowing $2,000 from our savings without telling me. I came home from work and my key didn't fit the door. She told me through the window that I was too aggressive and needed to cool off. My own brother let me crash on his couch for one night. Said his girlfriend was uncomfortable. So I lived out of my Civic behind the warehouse. Ate a peanut butter and crackers for dinner, showered at the rec center, pulled double shifts just to stay moving. Then her mom called, full-on sobbing, said they were about to lose their home. My father-in-law's real estate investments, the ones he never shut up about, blew up in his face. They were 3 months behind on the mortgage, utilities shut off, credit cards maxed. I should have hung up. I should have let them drown. Instead, I pulled every lever I had left, maxed out both my cards, skipped meals, took on every shift I could grab, dropped over $100,000 in 5 months to save their house. Megan still wouldn't talk to me, but her mom suddenly called me the only one with sense. I even talked them into signing a quitclaim deed just to protect the house from collectors. For tax reasons, I said. Technically, that gave me ownership, but I didn't think I'd need it. I just wanted to help. Now here I was alone in the house I saved, staring at empty walls with an automated message telling me I was selling it. I stood up, grabbed my phone, and started scrolling through emails. Nothing about a listing. No warning, no call, just that text. I went into the spare room, bare floor, dust line where the futon used to be, and dug through the drawer they'd left behind. Bunch of old junk mail and one accordion folder. Inside was everything: tax returns, utility bills, bank statements, and the deed. My name on it, signed, notarized, filed. That folder became the one thing tethering me to reality. I sat cross-legged on the floor, flipping through the documents, trying to piece together the timeline. It was like rewinding a car crash in slow motion. Every choice I made, the cash I handed over, the nights I skipped sleep, the double shifts, it all added up to this, a con job. They played me so clean I didn't even see the knife until it was 6 inches deep. And now they were in Arizona, probably sipping margaritas with my damn money, posting about new beginnings. I gripped the edge of the folder so hard it bent. I wasn't just mad, I was humiliated. I wasn't the hero who saved the day. I was the mark, but not anymore. I stood up, grabbed my jacket off the floor, and walked straight to the kitchen. No lights, no sound. And opened the junk drawer. The pen was still there, the one I used to sign that deed. This time, I wasn't signing anything away. I was going to use every piece of that paper trail to burn their little fantasy life to the ground. Starting now. I barely slept, maybe 2 hours if that. I spent the whole night tearing through that folder, pulling out receipts, digging through drawers, trying to connect dots I didn't even know were there. By sunrise, I found the second envelope. It was tucked behind the oven, like they hadn't meant for me to find it. Inside, a full packet from a realtor's office in Tempe, not just a listing, the final sale contract. Listing price, $462,000. Closing date, 2 weeks out. Signatures, mine, forged. Megan's, her dad's, her mom's. All neat, like they'd done this before. They tried to sell the house right out from under me. I should have felt rage, but it was something colder than that. Like a switch flipped. I didn't feel betrayed anymore. I felt stupid for not seeing it sooner. I went to my phone to call the realtor. No service. Dead battery. Of course. Plugged it in, waited. First thing that lit up wasn't a call. It was Facebook. Champagne flutes. Big smiles. Caption: family stronger than ever. New chapter begins now. Megan in a sundress, standing on the front porch of some beige cookie-cutter house. Her dad holding a dog I'd never seen. And front and center, flashing keys like he just won the lottery. Her brother, Kyle, golden boy. He was the one who used to borrow money and forget to pay it back. Now he's got his own place, courtesy of the idiot brother-in-law who paid off their debt and got booted for it. I kept scrolling, more photos. Moving truck, backyard barbecue, wine glasses, new appliances. Then my phone started going off. Back-to-back notifications. First a text from Megan's sister. "Is it true you're homeless?" That's what Mom said. 5 minutes later, her cousin Rachel. "Why are you making this so hard for the family?" Like I was the villain here. I didn't answer either one. I just stared at the screen until my eyes burned. Then came the message that hit different. Jennifer from work. "Hey, heard what happened. My roommate just moved out. If you need a place for a while, let me know." That one knocked the wind out of me. She was the forklift spotter. Sharp, quiet, didn't get involved in drama. And now, she was the only one acting like a human being. I didn't answer right away. I didn't know what to say. About an hour later, I heard a knock at the door. Light, careful. It was Mrs. Gillespie from across the street, holding a medium-sized box wrapped in a towel. "I thought you might want these," she said, eyes soft. They were dumping stuff in the truck. I pulled this when they weren't looking. Inside were old photo albums, wedding shots, vacation pictures, birthdays, even a couple drawings Megan's niece made years ago. Stuff you don't just toss out unless you want someone erased. I thanked her, probably too fast, and took the box inside, set it down on the floor where the coffee table used to be. My whole life was in those photos, but none of them were recent. Not one from the past year. Not even the last Christmas I'd spent in this house. They'd already deleted me long before I found that envelope. That was the moment it all snapped into focus. They didn't just move on. They cut me out. They tried to sell my house, lied to everyone, framed me as the problem. And now they were living easy while I stood in a stripped-down house with nothing but a half-dead phone and a box of memories someone else thought was worth saving. I got up, went to the kitchen, wrote Jennifer back, "Appreciate the offer. I might take you up on it." Then I opened the closet and pulled out every scrap of paperwork I could find. They wanted a fight. Fine. They were gonna get one. Not even 24 hours after I hit send on that text to Jennifer, my phone rang. Blocked number. Normally I'd ignore it, but something told me to pick up. Mr. Reeves, this is Carla from First Title Partners. We're calling about the property on Bramble Lane. We've run into an issue with the sale. I didn't say a word, just listened. We verified the deed with the county records. You're the only legal owner. No other parties have signing rights. We've frozen the transaction effective immediately. I exhaled, sharp and fast. Didn't even realize I'd been holding my breath. Carla kept going, calm and clipped. You may want to contact legal counsel. There's clearly been some misrepresentation on the seller's side. I thanked her, then hung up and sat down hard on the bare floor, folder in my lap. That was my leverage, that deed, the only reason they didn't get away with everything. I pulled out the rest, bank statements showing every payment I'd made, screenshots of texts from her mom begging for help, Venmo receipts, Western Union transfers, every bit of evidence that I'd been the one keeping the lights on while they played house. The manipulation wasn't random, it was coordinated. They knew exactly what they were doing. Keep me on the hook financially, emotionally, legally, but never truly in the picture, just a name on a bill, a body at work. And once I'd served my purpose, they cut me loose. My voicemail pinged. I tapped it open, and of course, it was him, my father-in-law. You owe us, Rob. Don't forget that. Don't ruin this for your family. We've all been through enough. I replayed it once, then again. The voice didn't even sound angry, just annoyed. Like I'd bumped into his cart at the grocery store. That night, I laid everything out on the living room floor like a war map. Folder open, sticky notes, a spiral notebook tracking every dollar and date. I wasn't going down quiet. The next day, I heard a knock. 3 slow, heavy taps. I looked through the peephole. Uncle Mark, Megan's brother-in-law. Guy thought he was slick. Always wore loafers with no socks, called himself an entrepreneur, but never held a job longer than a year. I didn't open the door. Rob, man to man, he said through the crack. They messed up, yeah, but come on. You're not going to throw away everything over this, right? I didn't answer. He sighed and slid something under the door, a white business card with his name and a number on it. Call me. Before you do something, you'll regret. I picked up the card, stared at it for a second, then tossed it in the trash. Back on Facebook, the act was still going. Megan posted a selfie with her cousin at brunch, captioned, "Surround yourself with people who lift you higher." But cracks were showing. A guy from her high school commented, "Didn't your ex pay for your house?" Another said, "Weird how you blocked Rob but kept his money." Comment after comment, passive-aggressive jabs, awkward questions, old friends tagging her like they wanted her to explain herself. She didn't delete them, just stopped replying. I wasn't just in damage control anymore, I was pulling ahead. The following morning, I took a long shower, shaved, and put on a pressed button-up. Not my work vest, not my stained hoodie, a real shirt. My only one that didn't smell like diesel. I drove to the title office. When I walked in, Carla recognized me instantly. "Mr. Reeves, we've got the amended documents ready." I sat at the polished desk, pen in hand. Every signature I added felt like reclaiming oxygen I hadn't breathed in months. I locked the file copies in a document safe the minute I got home. This wasn't about saving the house anymore. This was about taking back control. Every inch they'd stolen, every lie they'd told, every dollar they thought they could bury me with. And now, they were the ones scrambling. I hadn't even started yet. I was barely back from the title office when Carla called again. This time her tone was tight. "They've requested a call," she said. "All parties. They want to clear the air." I leaned against the wall, phone pressed to my ear. "You recording it?" "Absolutely." "Then I'm in." She scheduled it for 3 o'clock sharp. I sat on the floor with my back to the cold wall, phone on speaker, folder open, notepad in front of me. The call started with her dad. "Rob," he snapped. No greeting, just attitude. "We had a family agreement. You knew the plan. Don't act like you're confused." I didn't say a word. Megan jumped in, voice soft and fake sweet. "We didn't want it to go this way. If you just responded to my messages..." "You told him not to call," Carla interrupted, calm but firm. "That was in the note you left at the property." Silence. Then her dad blew. "This is ridiculous. That house was ours before he ever showed up. He's lucky we let him live there at all." Carla didn't flinch. Legally, Mr. Reeves is the sole title holder. His signature was never given for the sale. Your transaction attempt was invalid and has been reported to our legal department. Megan started crying, loud, sniffly, drawn-out sobs. "Rob," she choked out, "you know I didn't mean to hurt you. I was overwhelmed. We were all overwhelmed." Still, I said nothing. Just let Carla speak. "We're advising all parties not to attempt further actions on the property. Any future attempts without Mr. Reeves's consent will be considered fraud." Her dad muttered something, couldn't make it out. Then the line clicked. He hung up. Megan stayed on another 10 seconds, crying, then silence. Call ended. I dropped the phone beside me. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. I was wired, focused. I'd spent months crawling through the dirt just to keep them afloat. Now they were sinking, and I didn't feel a damn thing. That night, Jennifer showed up in her pickup, tossed an air mattress and a clean set of sheets through my open front door. "No bugs, no holes," she said. "Don't say I never gave you anything." She didn't stay, just nodded and drove off. I set up the mattress in the corner where the couch used to be. By sundown, the doorbell rang again. It was Craig from the loading dock, dragging a used microwave. "Figured you'd need this more than the break room." Then Sarah and Todd showed up. Folding chairs, a space heater, and a box of mismatched dishes. Said they pooled some stuff from their garages. Within an hour, I had a coffee table, 2 lamps, and a mini fridge. No lectures, no pity, just people showing up because they chose to, not because they wanted something from me. That same night, my phone buzzed with a message from Rachel, Megan's cousin. "I left him, saw what they did to you. I'm done." A second later, another ping, screenshots, text threads, group chats, messages between Megan, her parents, and Kyle. "Once the house sells, we ghost. Rob's too soft. He'll never fight back. Make sure the deed's buried. He doesn't even know he has it. Cry if you have to. Just make him feel guilty enough to back off." I stared at the screen, jaw locked. Rachel followed up with one last message. "You don't deserve this. Whatever you need, I'll tell the truth." I sat back against the wall, phone in one hand, that folder in the other. They had no idea who they were dealing with, and they were about to find out. The next morning, it started. First, a text from Megan's sister. "Dad's blood pressure's up. He might go to the ER. Please don't push this further." 10 minutes later, her mom, "You're tearing the family apart." For what? Revenge? Then Rachel again. "They're spinning the story. Now it's, you tricked them into signing the house over. Be ready." I didn't respond to a single one. I scrolled Facebook instead, watching Megan post through the storm like nothing was happening, a long paragraph with a filtered selfie. "It's heartbreaking when people you trusted betray the family. Some children forget who supported them when they had nothing. Family over everything." The comments were all over the place. A few relatives jumped in with sad face emojis and, "You'll get through this." But others weren't buying it. "Didn't he pay your bills, though? Y'all did him dirty. Don't spin this." "You're really posting selfies right now?" She started replying, defensive, snappy, then deleted half the thread. I didn't lift a finger, just watched. By that afternoon, more updates started rolling in. Not from them, but from people I didn't expect. Craig texted me. "Your brother-in-law lost his job. HR found out he lied on his app. Said he owned property. Guess not." I nearly laughed out loud. Her brother, golden boy Kyle, always bragged about climbing the ladder. Now he was back at square one because he used my house as part of his portfolio. Next came a call from a number I didn't recognize. Uncle Mark again. "Look, Rob," he started, voice low like he was talking to a dog he didn't want to spook. "They're hurting. You made your point. Can't you meet them halfway?" I didn't say anything. "They need somewhere to go. You've got the space. You don't even have furniture yet." Still silent. Finally, he laid it out. "They're asking if you'd consider splitting the house. 2 families, 1 roof, just until things settle." I actually laughed, out loud, right into the phone. He hung up. That night, I got to work. First thing I did was change every lock. Front, side, back, even the one on the garage door. Then I installed 2 cameras, one above the doorbell, one pointed at the driveway. High resolution, night vision, cloud storage. Let them try something. The house still echoed with emptiness, but I didn't care. I cranked up some old rock playlists and started repainting the living room. No more soft beige Megan picked out. I went with slate gray, clean, sharp, no memories. When I was done, I pulled out the one piece of art I'd been saving, a framed photo of the Portland skyline at night, taken from the same warehouse rooftop I worked the year I first moved here, back when things were simpler, before I tried to build my life around people who saw me as a tool. I hung it above the spot where their fireplace photo wall used to be. Smiling faces, holiday dinners, Megan and her siblings posed like they were God's gift to suburbia. Gone. This was my wall now. At some point I heard voices outside. Megan's mom, probably talking to neighbors. I peeked through the blinds. She was on someone's porch, holding a tissue, doing her best grief performance, her go-to act. Saw it at birthdays, funerals, church. She could cry on command better than any actor in LA. I didn't go out there, didn't confront her. Let her beg for sympathy from people who'd already seen the posts, heard the rumors, and were starting to ask real questions. 2 days later, I got a voicemail from one of her uncles, the one who used to high-five me at family cookouts. "You know, Rob, this ain't what your marriage was about. We all make mistakes. Just bring everyone to the table and talk. It's not too late." I didn't return the call. I wasn't fighting them anymore. I wasn't defending myself. I was just living in my house, in peace, without liars in my kitchen and manipulators on my couch. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. They weren't family, they were squatters. And now they were locked out. For good. The rain hit hard that night, thick, steady sheets pounding the roof like fists. I was in the middle of heating up leftovers when I heard the doorbell. Checked the camera first. There they were. Megan, her dad, and Kyle, soaked through. No jackets, no umbrellas. Just standing there like drowned rats. Megan's hair was plastered to her face. Her dad clutched a manila envelope, like it was proof he still had authority. Kyle looked the same as always, smug under the panic. I let them stand there a minute. Then I opened the door. No hi, no excuses. I just stepped aside. They walked in like they expected something. Warmth, sympathy, forgiveness, who knows? All they got was silence and bare walls. No couch, no photos, no fake happy memories. Just a folding chair, a card table, a mattress in the back room, and a room that finally felt clean. I watched them take it in. Megan's eyes darted around. Kyle looked confused. Her dad didn't even blink. I motioned toward the table. "Sit." They did. I pulled out the file folder and dropped it on the table with a thud. "Let's go over the numbers," I said, "because I know none of you kept track while you were spending." I flipped to the spreadsheet, slid it across to them. Mortgage payments, utilities, maxed cards, wire transfers, cash drops. Total, $101,612. I pulled out their handwritten goodbye letter, the one Megan left in the empty living room, slid that across too. "Thanks for clearing our debt, idiot. We're in Arizona now. Don't call." Sound familiar? Her dad opened his mouth. I raised a hand. Not done. I laid down the printed screenshots Rachel sent, messages between them, planning the sale, burying the deed, mocking me. And finally, Mara's signed statement, notarized, dated, confirming they forged my signature and knew exactly what they were doing. "Legal's already got copies of everything," I said. "So, if this is some kind of last-ditch sob story, save it." Megan blinked fast, lip trembling. "We were scared, Rob. We didn't know what else to do. We thought you'd be fine. You always land on your feet." I stared at her. No anger, just nothing. "You left me sleeping in my car." Her father leaned forward, voice sharp. "You can't seriously think this house belongs to you. After everything we gave," I cut him off. "You gave me nothing. I earned this place while you gambled on investments and let your daughter rob me blind." He tried to stand. I didn't flinch. "You want to sue?" I said. "Go ahead. I've got every document in triplicate. Your name's not on a single one." Kyle finally spoke up. "So that's it? You're just going to throw us out? Family?" I stood up, calm, cold. "I'm offering you 3 nights in a motel. There's a Red Roof Inn down the road. I already called. 2 rooms, prepaid. After that, you're on your own." Megan's mouth opened like she was about to cry again. Nothing came out. No more tantrums, no screaming, just silence. They stood one by one. No one looked at me. Her dad paused at the door. "This isn't over." I didn't answer, just shut the door behind them. They stood on the porch for a second, rain soaking through their clothes again. No ride, no plan. I didn't watch them walk away. I just locked the door and double-checked the cameras. Back in the kitchen, the microwave beeped. My leftovers were ready. I sat at the card table with a plastic fork, took a bite, and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The court didn't even blink. Their lawyer tried spinning some nonsense about emotional investment and informal agreements, but the judge barely looked up from the paperwork. The deed was clear. The signature forgery was documented. The messages didn't lie. Case dismissed. I didn't celebrate, didn't high-five anyone. I walked out of that courthouse, bought a gas station coffee, and went straight to work. Doubles every week. Overtime when I could get it. Sometimes Saturdays, too. Every dollar went to digging out, paying off cards, cleaning up the mess I let them drag me into. Jennifer handed me a pay stub one day and nodded toward the break room. "You're ahead of schedule," she said. "Keep going." That night, I went home, pulled down the empty nail above the fireplace where our wedding photo used to hang, and replaced it with a clean, full-length mirror. Wide frame, simple wood. I caught my own reflection and didn't flinch. This was my place now. The dishes didn't match, the furniture was secondhand, but I'd rather sit on a floor I earned than a throne built on guilt. At work, there was a new kid, barely 20, fresh off the bus from somewhere in Idaho. Slept in his car the first 2 nights, kept to himself. Looked hungry. I tossed him a protein bar during our break and asked, "You got a plan?" He shook his head. "Nah, just trying to survive." I told him what I wish someone had told me. "You can come back from rock bottom, but no one's going to hand you a ladder." Started helping him out. Job referrals, cheap meal hacks, where to shower without getting hassled. Nothing major, just enough so he didn't fall through the cracks. Eventually, I got him on a friend's couch. Word got around. Guys I'd worked next to for years, quiet, beat-down guys, started opening up. Turns out, a lot of them had been through the same kind of crap, cut off from their kids. Ex-wives bleeding them dry, families turning on them the second the checks stopped. So I booked a room at the rec center on a Thursday night. Called it Men Rebuilding. Free coffee, no therapists, just guys talking. 6 showed up the first week. Next week, it was 15. Now, we're pushing 30, easy. One guy broke down talking about how he hadn't hugged his son in 2 years. Another said his ex stole his dog and sold it. Nobody laughed, nobody judged. We just listened. It hit me in the middle of one of those nights, watching these men tell the truth for the first time in years. They didn't need fixing. They needed a place where someone didn't call them crazy for being angry. I stayed after to clean up, and one of the older guys clapped a hand on my shoulder. "Wish I had this 10 years ago," he said. "Would have saved me a lot of sleeping in parking lots." On the walk back to my truck, I finally felt it. They didn't break me. They tried. God knows they tried. But what they really did was tear off the mask I'd been wearing to keep peace. They showed me who they were, and in the process, reminded me who I was. Every piece they stole, my money, my time, my trust, I earned back the hard way, and none of it belonged to them anymore. Not the house, not my peace, not me. They set fire to the bridge thinking I'd chase them through the smoke, but I didn't. I built a road in the other direction. 1 year later, I was on my knees in the backyard, dirt under my nails, planting sunflower seeds where their busted patio set used to sit. The one Megan's dad swore he'd fix next weekend for 4 years straight. Mrs. Gillespie waved from across the street. She was holding that same little dog, still watching everything like a hawk. I gave her a nod. She'd been the only one who warned me while they were hauling out my life in boxes. The place didn't even look the same anymore. Donated couch from Jennifer's neighbor, hand-me-down coffee table from Craig, bookshelves I built myself, packed with paperbacks I actually wanted to read. No more fake family portraits, no more furniture picked to impress people I couldn't stand. Just stuff that fit me. The garage was now my art studio. Nothing fancy. A second-hand pottery wheel, shelves lined with lopsided bowls and mugs, some glazes I mixed myself. Every Saturday morning, I hit the farmer's market. People actually bought my stuff. Not because it was perfect, because it was real. My ex's family scattered like roaches when the lights came on. Kyle was couch surfing in Phoenix. I heard through the grapevine he got fired again. Her parents split up. Big surprise. Her mom tried guilt-tripping her way into staying with a cousin in Boise. Her dad still sent texts like he was owed something. Family doesn't turn its back. Hope you're happy. You left us when we needed you most. I never answered. Just blocked, deleted, moved on. Jennifer threw me a housewarming last month. Said I'd earned it. Whole crew showed up. Co-workers, neighbors, even my shift supervisor who never leaves his desk. Someone brought ribs. Someone else brought beer. It was loud, messy, honest. The kind of gathering that didn't need an excuse. I stood in the kitchen at one point, looking around at people laughing, eating, just being themselves. No tension, no secrets, no one pretending. When they left, I sat out on the porch, cracked a cold one, and watched the last bit of light fade over the roof lines. This house used to feel like a cage. Like every room was lined with expectations I'd never meet, sacrifices no one appreciated, a future I didn't even pick.